God deals with everybody's. He cleans us up in their own, in His way, in His time. The thing that He needs to clean up with us may not. What we think you need to work on the most might not be the thing He thinks you need to work on the most.
Yeah.
And
He may have to get rid of some other stuff before He gets to the big stuff.
Right.
Just like if you're cleaning out your attic, he sees the thing for what it is, and we know that, okay, there's 5 boxes back there I got to get to, but before I get to that, I got to remove all this stuff.
Yeah.
And God is sovereign in that to know that, okay, we got to move these smaller things, and then we'll get to the big. Really? Same pen? Well, you got your money's worth from it.
Hey, but that's what the name of the game.
Now, is it a pencil or a pen?
Pencil.
Okay. So where you get the lead from? Same. How much lead you had to put in it? It ain't same lead. I know.
I never run out of lead. But yeah, they're so long, and so they give you a whole.
You ain't never filled it up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's what.
Oh, you mean how you mean in here?
Yes.
Oh well, I've got one right there.
Right.
You can store a bunch of them in there.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Do that. I used to have mechanical pencils like that when I was in high school and stuff.
Well, I'll sell you this one for, I think it was about $8.
Do you work in pencils because that's accounting and stuff?
I work in pencil because I make a lot of mistakes.
Right.
I have to erase. If I did anything, that would be a problem.
Well, what do you? Well, you're not writing.
But I just wrote this. But no,
he's coming on for Barry. He got 8 talking.
What I do,
but I was gonna say, I don't know.
Here's what I do.
Okay.
I'll write down my thoughts. I'll put them in the computer.
Okay.
Like a birthday card. I'll write down what I'm thinking wherever I'm at, and I'll type in the computer.
There.
And then I run, spell check and grammar check, and then I'll write it in pencil from the computer. That's my process of doing birthday cards.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I mean, I just don't.
I just sit down with an ink pen and write.
No.
I do,
because I miss words. Like I will probably miss.
Well, I might miss one every now and then.
I'm thinking too quick, and I might miss a word.
I think for the most part, I get most of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I write 3 a day, and I just have to. But I couldn't do that. That'd be too much.
I have to send you back some of the ones you wrote. I actually corrected it.
He's redlining your birthday.
Yeah, I'll send you back.
Please do.
Sounds about right.
The corrected.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I like that, man. I like that.
I was telling somebody the other day, I keep notes on my phone when I'm hitting golf balls. I'll just jot down and a lot of times it don't make any sense to anybody else.
What was I talking about?
What does this feel like to me? And it makes sense to me. And a guy was sitting there, I was explaining it to him the other day, and he's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, let me read it to you." I read, and I had a long note for this one. And it reminded me of a video I saw of Peyton Manning calling out a play in the huddle.
Right.
Like, he flipped jet, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and I'd seen a video on YouTube of him calling out a play in the huddle, and then the caption of the meme was like me on the first tee trying to remember all of my swing tips that I saw on YouTube last night. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of how my notes are.
Yes, sir.
I saw Tim this morning over there
at Sully's.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
We were about as far apart as we could be, but he's left-handed, so I was facing him.
Yes.
I saw him, I think that's him, but the glare, you can't see real good in there with the glare and stuff. So took us a little while, but when I was walking out, we talked for a little bit.
All right.
He said, "Every time I come over here, you're here." I said, "Well, there's a reason for that." I'll have my mail forwarded there pretty soon.
There you go.
What's up, guys?
Oh, it's good to be here, man.
Oh, I was telling Ben that I'm going to be here next week.
You are going to be here now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's our welcome to another 167.
Yeah.
We got some stuff to talk about today. It looks like Kenny's coming here.
Did you make notes while I was talking?
Yeah. No, I made them while I was sitting there. But
I like that. All right, cool.
You can't. It's upside down.
No, I see what the title is.
Oh.
We talked about doing. I don't know if we talked about this on the actual podcast. We just talked about it ourselves talking about men's ministry and what does a man of God look like. I think that was a good topic, and I thought that might be like a segment. But based on Kenny's notes, it looks like
he went to town, didn't he?
Looks like that's going to be the next season.
I just wrote what was coming to my mind. I mean,
so now, what was what did you take from the assignment? Yours is a little bit different than what
men's ministry look like.
What does a men's ministry look like?
Yeah, I told him I had a couple I hadn't written down, but I was thinking
I
what's a
thought
man
that's
of
what you said. You didn't say that?
Sorta, kinda. I mean, we were kinda
'Cause
talking
we were
about
talking
2
about that.
things. We were talking about what does a man of God look like? What are the characteristics you would just use to describe a man of God? Then, okay, then what does the men's ministry look like to help instill those things?
Well, we can talk about both of them because this is, this one.
Well, I think one is, to me, one is the goal, so we kinda need to state what the goal is because, your goals determine where you're shooting and how you shoot,
Mhm.
or at least it should, and, so what does a godly man look like? What are the characteristics? What are the qualities? What are the must-haves, so to speak,
Well, what's the goal?
a godly man?
Okay.
I mean, that's
Christ-centered, prayer focus.
you're doing, well,
I kinda
we need to make it that this is about okay, so a man that's a man of God is spends time in prayer.
yeah.
Okay, so we're not talking about the ministry.
No, yeah,
We're talking about the
I'm
man.
trying to, kinda
activity on the
yeah.
fly.
Yeah, I
I'm
see
just
that,
trying to
and
kinda
that's what's,
associate that with
that's
what
what
you're talking
I see the wheels spinning.
reading my notes, and I do the changing between, um, prayer focused. I think, godly man should be prayer focused. You got that one? Okay.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
That's how he cheats
Well,
off
hey,
your paper.
I've said 2. I'll mark those off. Um, okay. I mean, I don't wanna take every I don't
No,
wanna
go
take
ahead. You're doing great.
being willing to do, and I can explain what I do. Be willing to do anything for somebody,
Mhm.
and that would be more not sacrificial, loving sacrifice. What's the word for that?
Christ-like
Yeah, yeah, I guess you could do it. Yeah, that's right.
Christ-like service.
Service, kindness, gentle, the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Loving to your wife, love um, your wife as you Christ loved the church.
Okay.
You get that one?
Go ahead, I'm just listening to yours, then I'm gonna give you what the answer is.
Well, that's all I got.
Hey, you got more than that.
Yeah,
Keep going.
well, now, tell me what you had.
Well, I mean, I kinda wrote it down a little bit different of, okay, he loves the Lord.
Mhm.
And in loving the Lord, he's gonna be serving, he's gonna be growing, he's also gonna be discipling people,
Well, yeah, mentor.
alright? So, responsible, and what I mean by responsible is he's responsible to his priorities, he's responsible to his family, he's dependable, he is somebody that you can depend on. He's gonna be generous, and when I mean generous, he's gonna be generous with his resources, he's gonna be generous with his life, he's gonna be generous with wanting to help people. I think there's also a gentleness along with that generous in a no, he's not a ogre, he's not a, "Ooh, I don't wanna be around this guy." At the same time, there's a humbleness that goes along with being a man of God, and that humbleness means that he is teachable, it means that he's surrendered. It means that he's forgiving. It means that he is willing to work and do whatever is required. And then I put, last but not least, he fears the Lord. There's a reverence about the Lord. There's an obedience about the Lord, and there's just that wanting to serve and please the Lord. And of course, there's some other things that go in with it, but that's pretty much the ones that I had.
So you're talking about Titus 2:7?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay.
That's pretty good there, Kenny.
Oh,
Man, that just came off the top of your
yeah.
head.
Well, also needs to support his leaders, pastor.
Mhm. I agree, I agree.
Even
And I think what you said as far as, praying, that is one of the key ones. And here it is. In all things, show yourself to be an example of good deeds, with purity in doctrine, dignified, sound in speech, which is beyond reproach, so that the opponent will be put to shame, having nothing bad to say about us. I mean, that's a pretty good description of what a man of God looks like. Yourself to be an example of good deeds, purity of doctrine, dignified, sound in speech, which is beyond reproach.
Accountability.
Yep, there you go.
I think I took a little bit different approach to it in maybe the way I thought through it, because I think I did a little bit of a contrasting in my head maybe
Mhm.
of what does a man of God look like compared to what the world might describe as,
What does man
what does a man look like,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's
And
that right there is the hard part because the world don't even know.
well, and I think there's a fine line between the 2. It's not that they're on total opposite ends, but I look at, some of the words I just jotted down here. I mean, I you hear the phrase a lot, and I think it's probably a masculine type of a mindset. You can do anything you set your mind to.
Right, right.
You decide what you're going to do it and have determination and grit and work as hard as you can, and everything will work itself out. But I contrast that to, a man of God that submitted to the will of God,
Mhm.
and it was saying, "No, it's whatever God wants is what
Yeah.
is
Or
gonna
I
work
can do
out.
all things through
I can do all
Christ
things
Right.
who
through
strengthens
Christ."
me.
Right, but it's not and it doesn't mean you don't another contrasting thing is there's a difference in working hard
Mm,
and being persistent to follow through with the work that God's given you to do, not just working for the sake of working, but working to do what He's called you to do.
mhm.
Leadership is another thing that I think about with with men that you know, especially you think back through the Bible, some of the strongest men of God got a lot of ridicule for their obedience to God.
Right.
Noah caught a little slack, I'd imagine, for his for how much
Mhm.
he followed through with his plan. Abraham, certainly, there were times that Sarah
Moses.
was questioning him. Moses, there were a lot of people, a lot of men in the Old Testament and New Testament as well. I'm sure that they were following God, even if it meant losing the respect of their peers, even if it meant losing I think respect is probably the best way I can look. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of situations where they're looking at some of these characters and saying, "You've lost your mind,"
Mhm.
or and that's the type of strength. And there's also a strength in submission to God that's very hard to put your finger on maybe and describe, but, you think about manly strength and that determination of I control I think that's control is maybe a word that I'm looking for. Men are in control. We that alpha male that thinks they control everything,
Mhm.
that thinks they're in charge and they've got to take charge of every situation. There is a certain leadership that a man of God's gonna have, but it's not them that you should be following. It's follow me as I follow Christ kind of a mindset.
Right.
And
I see it. I
sometimes
dig it.
the things that you're following, like you told me a few weeks ago, if what God's calling you to do isn't a little bit out there on a limb,
They
that
scare
it
you.
might not necessarily be Him that's calling you to it, right?
Right.
So there's a certain courage, or and again that kind of circles back to strength and submission. I think it takes a lot of strength to surrender to God, and sometimes it may not be perceived that way or it may not look that way, but I think it takes an awful lot of strength and courage
I dig it.
to say, "No, God's in control of me."
Mhm.
Now, follow that example, yes, that's leadership, but it's not what you might think of.
Yep. No, I like what his answer was 'cause, I think one of the things that it's easy to say, well, the world's just totally the opposite. And truly, there are some that have basically, wanted to take every bit of masculinity out of maleness.
Mhm.
That man, they have neutered every male that
Yep.
okay, and that is oh male toxicity. Oh, that masculine toxicity is so
Yeah.
disgusting. Well, that there's that camp, but I believe the enemy most of the time takes what maleness is and tries to take it just a little bit too far. And
Mhm.
I think that's what you were just hitting on. That's why
Yeah.
I was hearing that of, okay, the world says, okay, a man says, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Well, or I'll do whatever, or and I think the thing of it is God has it here, and I think the enemy always wants to twist it just enough,
There's a tweet.
just to get you just left of center or left or off of what the mark is, because the mark that God has is not necessarily the easiest mark, but it's a great mark. But what we oftentimes do is we'll turn it just a little bit sinful.
Well,
So when he says, "Be kind," what we do is we're finicky nice.
Mhm.
rather than we're kind to everybody. Well, we're nice to everybody we know, and we're kind to everybody we know or I like, or I know your family from way back when, and you know my family, so therefore I'm gonna be kind. But to some stranger,
And I think it's the way you said that with the toxic masculinity versus the demasculine emasculation, I guess, is the word I'd be looking at on the opposite side of that.
right,
But I think that what maybe part of what I was saying there is that sometimes the submissiveness to God may come across as maybe not quite as masculine as some others might want it to be. And there's other times I think it goes the other way that sometimes it's being okay, let's take a word like stubborn, okay?
mhm,
That's probably a a phrase that gets thrown around for men a lot of times is we're stubborn, hard-headed, and things like that. Well, I wanna be stubborn when it comes to biblical morality and certain I'm gonna be stubborn when it comes to who I'm putting first in my life. That's it.
right,
I mean, I'm not gonna bend on that, but at the same time, there are, other times that the qualities that you demonstrate, some people might twist it around to say it is a little bit weak or it is a little bit, less masculine. And there's other times that when you're following God, it may come across that you're being a little bit stubborn. But if you, and it's understanding the difference between those two, I guess, and it shouldn't be either. It shouldn't be emasculating or
right.
toxic if you're,
Well, I kind of what you just did. I kind of wrote down a little chart here, and I put three columns. One is toxic, one is Christ
hmm
Christian, and then another one is neutered.
there you go.
All right. You said stubborn. All right. For the godly man, that means I stand on convictions,
That's right.
but it also means that I'm not standing on convictions on something that really doesn't matter.
You're not
Or
standing on your
that you gotta
conviction.
have wisdoms of what's worth standing on, what isn't.
You're not standing on what
Pick
you
your
decided
battles.
Yeah,
is worth
I'm standing
standing on.
on
You're
what
standing on
the
what he
word of
decided.
God is.
Right.
And then neutered would be you're just wishy-washy.
Yeah.
You go with whatever the crowd says or whatever somebody tells you to say. And so I'm just fleshing this out because there's just a part of me that thinks, okay, the way the world's gonna try to make you miss center.
Yeah.
And if it can make you miss this way or this way just a little bit, then you're way off. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, what does the center look like based on what the
Well,
or if we set what the center is, then we can kind of know what to avoid.
I think another one you can look at is like compassion and love and affection, things like
Right.
that. That might fall on the neutered side from the world's perspective. That if you're, if you're mushy and you're compassionate, that falls on the soft side. And then the opposite side of that, whatever you want to call that, is you know, uh, I don't know what you call that on the opposite side of it, but basically a lack of affection or hard hearted,
Harsh.
harsh. Yeah. And, you look at Jesus was the most perfect example of balancing truth and love that
Mm.
there ever was.
I mean, he showed compassion to the widow in John, not widow, the woman in John 8.
Mhm.
At the same time, he wasn't too compassionate with those. He ready to tell those guys,
Yeah,
right? Whatever he wrote, but you without sin, they took the hint. They got out of
yeah,
Dodge.
yeah.
And so that was not necessarily the most compassionate. And there are other times when he calls them what they are,
Mhm.
that without it being ugly. And so, yeah, I think that's and maybe that's what I needed to see today is how the world twists or just tries to get you just a little bit off center, and if it can do that, then you're gonna be because just a little it's kinda like when you're going, down a road, and if I just go at a slow angle like this, but I keep going on that slow angle, eventually,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be way off of where the target was. Target was here, but I'm just going slow, and next thing you know, you're over here, and here's the goal, and it just started with a little deviation right there, maybe a 1-degree angle.
Yeah. Well, I think leadership's
Agree.
another one to contrast a little bit there because you've
Love,
got no, leadership is what I said.
leadership,
Love
okay.
too, but I think leadership is one that you can be so submissive and passive in your leadership that basically you're not willing to you're not really leading. You're basically just your form of leading is asking the group what do you want and letting them decide what's best. And you may end up doing something that you know is not right just because you were outnumbered or whatever. You didn't have the strength to stand up and lead. But the other side of leadership is I know what's best and we're going to do it my way or the highway kind of deal. where again it becomes about what you think is best and not about what Christ says is best. And I see that a lot probably in some videos that I'll see from pastors on YouTube and things like that, where they can become a little bit arrogant in they know what's best, and you can either agree with them or you can be wrong, but theirs is right, and that's not godly leadership to me. It may
I
be
see it all the time, man.
right.
It drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
I think it's one of, and what I would probably say in that is then if we're gonna do the three charts, in the middle is Christianity or what Christ wants. If you're gonna talk leadership, you have to talk serving
Mhm.
because he put on the towel. He put on and washed the disciples' feet. He didn't come to be served, but to serve. But then if you wanna look at the toxic side, it is bossy. It is hard-headed. It is my way or the highway.
Mhm.
It is, "Don't you dare disagree with me. What are you, stupid?"
Mhm.
Alright, there's that. Then there's the neutered side, which I would then say is crowd-driven, no spine,
Mhm.
um, weak, lily-livered.
Lily livered?
Yeah,
Never heard that one before.
that's the Wild West,
No, okay.
version of lily-livered. That's the Augustus McCrae Lonesome Dove shout out for, Robert Duvall, who passed away yesterday.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Man.
he was one of my
It
favorite actors.
he do
Yep.
he could do anything.
Harry Hog.
But, yeah, but, Augustus McCrae was one of my favorites, man, and, let's see, yes, sir, Days of Thunder, man,
Mhm.
I want you to go out there
Godfather.
and hit the wall because 'cause you've hit everything. Hit the pace car, that's what we're talking, hit the pace car 'cause you've hit
Was
everything
The
else.
Godfather his, uh, first movie to stardom?
Negative.
Which one was it?
He played Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay,
Mhm.
but he didn't say any of that.
I mean, still, he played it.
He was around for a long
He played it
time.
in a
But he
remarkable
didn't
way.
there was no lines.
Yeah, but To Kill a Mockingbird was a famous movie. Didn't he have one line? Didn't Boo Radley say one word?
I don't know.
I thought he did. At the end? Doesn't he say something like, "Here's a great lawyer," or something like that?
Just walks around with it's the easy thing for him to do, how about
Yeah,
that?
but that's him, I
Easy,
couldn't
yeah,
believe it.
yeah.
So I guess that's where, to me, that stuff like this is fascinating to see where you'll end up on the chart of all the different personalities, and so even if you did like, all the fruit of the spirit,
Mhm.
you could have that.
Yeah.
And have, okay, this is what Christ says. All right, so then define what joy is. And then, all right, so what does it look like for the toxic side? And what does it look like for the neutered side? And I think the world is always going to try to get you just to be close enough, but not on it.
Mhm.
And so I think that's one of the reasons I just wanted to discuss what it means to be a godly man, because I think the world has a different scenario. I think a lot of Christians have a I don't want to say warped view, but maybe it's a different view than what we need to really take a look at for what does it take. And so if we're making those, then okay, then the next question is how, what does the ministry look like to make men that look like this?
Mentoring,
Yeah, I think there's
service
I think
projects,
you gotta have mentoring, and then we can do missions for service projects.
small groups,
Mhm.
uh, you know, small prayer meeting groups for accountability.
Yeah, men's groups.
Of course, train the younger to be in leadership.
That's Titus 2, or,
Uh,
nah, sorta kinda Titus 2, older teach the younger.
yeah. Uh,
I don't know
the
how to get
service. Go ahead.
I don't think this necessarily fits our tic-tac-toe chart really, but one of the things that I've experienced a lot from and you kinda talk on it with the mentoring and small groups is in the Bible study on Tuesday night or whether it's in here with you guys or at Sunday schools or whatever, when you get a group of guys around, an honesty with one another and openness with one another to share some things. Guys are not again, in the worldview of guys, we're not particularly sensitive, not particularly open to sharing our feelings, and I think that's true
A
in the
little
church
distant.
too.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean,
A
I
little
don't
distant.
love to do it, but at the same time, there's something that you gain as a group even when everybody is honest about their
Yeah.
struggles, honest about their feelings and thoughts towards things, and it's cool when you can get a group of guys around each other that are comfortable talking about things without and it's not necessarily. It's funny, there's a way that it happens a lot of times where it doesn't feel like a episode of Dr. Phil. You're just talking and being honest,
Yeah.
and a lot of good can come out of just being real with one another.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of men kinda aloof to, sharing their feelings.
Yeah. So you got if you put that on a tic-tac-toe chart, you got Christ in the middle is a genuine reality, an openness,
Mhm.
a willingness to be viewed, a willingness to, all right, open up about yourself. I said the toxic part is, man, we wanna be closed off,
Mhm.
don't wanna have anything else. But then the neutered part, I put down hypocritical. Because we're gonna be two-faced of, "I got all my problems together. I got all
Mhm.
I'm good," or I might share something, but I'm not gonna go deep, and maybe that needs to be, superficial, um,
What
rather than
about
hypocritical.
what about if you just don't think about it?
Which one you think about,
You don't think about not sharing. You don't think about sharing. Just
right? Isn't that closed off?
mm, I mean, you don't feel guilty about it. You just
You're
it
just
is
closed off.
yeah, I guess you could call it that way.
I mean, I just don't wanna share.
No, no, I'm not talking about I don't wanna share. I'm just saying you don't think about sharing.
Right.
Um, I think a lot of times that crosses men's minds is they don't think about doing it. You get a bunch of women, they're gonna share,
Right.
and they're gonna share a lot.
Yeah.
I don't share a awful lot because I don't think about sharing it. It's not that I don't want to, or I guess you could probably it'd be like, I don't know, maybe neutered or something.
Oh, no, you can.
Define it. You don't share it. What's the it?
I'm not thinking about sharing anything. I don't have to, I don't
What
feel
is
like
it
I
that we
have
would be
to.
sharing? I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is
And
it
what's
your
the setting?
feelings? Is it hurts?
Yeah, well,
Is it a
I would
first?
say
Is it, "Hey, let me tell y'all how I used to struggle with the same thing."
well, I do that, but I don't
Okay.
think about doing it all the time is what I'm saying.
Mm,
I
really?
mean, I don't mind sharing, but it's not something that
Well, I think you
it's
can
not
also
something
overshare. You can be one of these
Sure.
that has
yeah,
17
that's what I'm saying.
stories for every.
I don't come to church to share.
Believe me, I got some of those.
I don't come to church to share, but if it just so happens, I will. Well, that's not on my mind because some people come to church just to share
Right.
what they got on their mind.
But I think that is I don't wanna say it's a gift. I
I don't
think
know if it's
part
a
of it
gift, I'm
I
just
don't think it's a
asking.
gift, I think it's a training. I think it's you get in the mode for it and you look for it. You look for opportunities, and again, I hate to make it something as simple as walking by the Spirit, but when the Spirit leads you to say, "You know what? I need to go talk to so and so and just share a word," or share, "Hey, let me tell you my story of, you're going through some things right now, and I can tell you, I can remember when I was your age, or hey, when Renee and I first got married, we struggled with this, and this." I don't know that it's necessarily oh,
If you know
I'm coming to church just to share. I think it's a being willing to, that, okay, when the Lord prompts my heart, I'm going to share. Not until then, because that's when people share too much.
well, first you gotta know when to.
Well, that goes back to walking
Mhm.
by the Spirit,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, because a lot of times you don't know the situation,
No.
and you don't wanna share something that doesn't even pertain to what they're going through.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, it doesn't always have to be a share. It can just be a, "Hey, I just wanna let you know, man, I think the world of you," or encouraging or something like that. But if you're sitting in a Sunday school class and you're discussing a topic and you got an answer,
Yeah. Or it's
being willing to share in that regard
no, yeah.
is one of
Yeah, I
them.
mean,
I
that's
mean, there's
it.
several different things. Is what is it share? What is the it?
I see what you're saying.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I've been on both sides of that one. When I first started coming to like the Thursday morning stuff and or whatever, any type of a group setting, I don't like to share. Like
Right.
I don't like to speak, and it's not a privacy thing. I don't
Especially in
like
a
to
large
speak
group like that.
in
That's a
front of
big
most
group.
people, right? So there would be things that they would ask a question or whatever, and I'd want to say something, but it's like surely somebody else will say it for me because I don't really
Right.
want to raise my hand. And then finally, after a while, it's like I got you know had to do it a couple of times, and then it got to a point where after a while, I felt like I was doing that too much, and would be
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
out
that's
about
a
15
that's a
minutes earlier if I'd shut up, that
yeah.
kind of thing. So you can kind of go both ways a little bit to say, okay, knowing when to share.
Yeah, well, what you're saying, you don't wanna feel like you're dominating,
Hmm.
and I get that too, and I have backed off. I don't share because it is a women's Bible study, and if all the men are
They never
talking
told me that, by the way.
do what?
They never told me it was a women's
Oh,
Bible
that's what it's
study.
called.
I
I
just
don't
showed
think
up.
it's called that.
Well, it's in the bulletin that way. I mean,
You
that's what
sure?
they call
Oh,
well,
is
that's
it?
what they
I need to start reading the bulletin. Apparently,
what does it say?
I'm looking. There may not be anything in there.
I was told it was a Thursday morning Bible study, so I showed up.
Well, they just
I
started
found out when I
I
got there
think
that it
they
was a
dropped
women's
the
study.
women or the ladies
what happened wa
because, there's been so many men coming.
what happened here's the start of it, and it was with when Chris Dale was here. I don't know if he'd come or not. Um, I Ramey came for his wife.
Mhm.
This is when they were meeting there in congregation, and I was doing the sound, so I just sat there. Yeah, but, yeah, that that's what started men coming, then it's gotten bigger and bigger. No, but Ramey is probably the one that started it.
Mm.
I stayed because I was doing the sound, and I
Yeah, there
do the
was
sound, come back
only
down.
1 or 2 men, but
Yeah,
right now on Thursday morning, 10 o'clock, it's called Thursday morning Bible study. No
okay.
women, no man, no lady.
Yeah.
Well, they're dominating. Women dominate. We gotta pick it up.
Well, we started out 0 to 1 to nothing or 1 to 40, and, but it has really grown too. That's what I'm tickled with.
Yeah, it's a good crowd in there now. It's grown just even since I've been going to it.
Yeah, it's a good
I
crowd.
mean, it's
Why you,
Oh, I think, yeah, over the years, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking way back.
well, no, I ain't going way back. I'm going over since I've been here.
Well,
I
yeah,
remember it
well,
was only,
well,
maybe 25, 30 in there on a Thursday morning.
that's about when I was doing it too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
It's come a long way in the last 3 or 4 years. Linda's done a good job with that.
mhm.
well, there's a lot of them.
No, and so I think that is I don't know, maybe that's it just fascinated me. The more we stop and think about it, I believe the more we would be able to figure out what the world says is this versus, okay, this is what Christ says.
Well, even if you just go through the fruits of the spirit, there's a lot of those that are some that are more common than others when it comes to men. Men might
I would say evident.
yeah. You've got love, joy, peace. I mean, patience is one that some men have,
That's I have a
some don't.
I I'm a patient person in a sense, but I get irritated.
Yeah.
And when I say I get irritated, it's mostly if I'm down it, and I'm trying very hard to do this. I'm down into thinking, and so I'm just absorbed in it. Renee comes asking me a question,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
and it just now I have to start all over again.
Yeah.
And so I lose my and I do. And that's a weak point that I have really worked out, and it just don't seem to be. I'm getting anywhere. So
Well, a lot of the fruits of the spirit kind of go hand in hand. If when you're showing patience, you'll tend to bring about more joy and experience more joy. You certainly love,
oh yeah,
kindness, self control is another one that I think it comes easier for some men than others, depending on what you're talking. I mean, I'm thinking of some of these, star athletes and stuff that have the discipline and self control. They're up at 4 o'clock every single morning. They take a lot of pride in their self control. Then you got others that have no self control whatsoever in other areas. But I mean, I don't know if that's something you really. I mean, those are not debatable. They're fruits of the spirit. Every godly man should demonstrate the fruits of the spirit.
That's right.
I think some may come easier for some men versus others. Some may come easier for the toxic male, and some may come easier for the neutered male.
well, everybody
It-
has the same amount of fruits of the spirit. It's just if you a
Right,
lot of times,
fruit,
yes,
singular.
and so, but the thing is, a lot of times, Christ lives inside of us. A lot of times, our mind goes outside. That's when we get in trouble.
Yeah.
right.
You know, when Christ said, "Be ye therefore perfect as your Father is in heaven," we are perfect by the Holy Spirit. But it's when we act outside of the Holy Spirit is where we become imperfect. That's why we have a hard time
Well, and I
being
think
perfect. But
yes, they're all.
yeah,
We,
so
we all have them. I think that we probably, depending on each individual,
yeah.
there are some that come easier than others. Love's one that comes fairly easy for me. It's easier for me to remember that we're supposed to love one another and to try to love even your enemies. And I'm not saying it's always easy, but
Yeah, right.
that one comes easier to me than say patience. I don't have a whole lot of patience, especially 6:30 in the morning, kids getting ready for school. I've got zero patience at that time. I'm,
You're
you
just
know,
angry.
I am a lot of times. Yeah.
No, 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 I'm just
Joy depends on the day,
Yeah,
and what
yeah.
time of day it is, and how much patience I've ran out of already. But I think for some people, patience comes fairly easy. For some people,
patient.
self-control comes
Well, I
fairly
think
easy.
a lot of us are patient in some places and not in others, are loving in a lot of places. I think we all have it. We just don't have enough of it.
I'll tell you what, on
And
401 this
it
morning on the
just
way to
depends
school, I
on
didn't have any of them, not
yeah.
a single one of the
Oh,
fruits.
yeah,
That
driving
don't wear out every
driving yes, I do not. I'm working on that. I get so aggravated up at 40, 42.
Oh, I've
When
seen
the
somebody go 3 wide
oh,
on the 2-lane road
when
today.
they're trying to make that last light and it goes from a 4 lane to a 2 lane,
Mhm.
and they sit right there, that last light, and you only got like a 50 yards.
Yeah.
Boom, and they, try and beat you, and then you come to the next light and you're right behind them.
Yep, that's
And
what
so
gets me.
that does aggravate me. I've thought about just kinda being both side in both lanes at one time, but
Yeah.
then I'll probably be shot, so that but there are some things that I do struggle with, and patience. I mean, I don't lose my temper like I used to at all, but it's just the little things that I'm working on now. Like Renee might hit me the wrong way. She'll ask me a question. I'm so concentrating on what I'm doing, I'm just saying whatever.
Mm.
And then I forget what I
That
told
she
her.
asked you a
Yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah, and then you just said that, and that's true. I just answered her so I could go back to doing what I was doing. I wasn't taking
Do we
time.
need to edit that part
I
out?
no, she knows it, she knows it,
Sounds like confession.
she knows that. And so I'm not she's asking me a question, and I'm answering it, but I'm really doing something else,
Yeah.
and I don't even remember what I answered.
Yeah.
So because I'm just so concentrating there on that, and she's bothering me, I
Yeah.
guess is what I should, yeah, you don't have to write that down.
Oh, no, no, I'm just trying to figure this one out.
Yeah, so
So I and again, on the chart, and this may not play to the, crowd unless we got it up, but patience is in the middle as far as being Christ-like, and what I said was, okay, that would also mean forbearance, meaning that, okay, I'm willing to forgive, I'm not, gonna be you can bother me, so to speak. Toxic would be short-fused and grumpy,
yeah,
and it doesn't take much to just send you over the edge. Almost hyper focused to the point of don't interrupt me. I've got things to do, and I got to get this done. And then let's go to the neutered side, and this is the one I struggle with. I said almost a no care, a nonchalant in a way of well, whatever.
I work on both sides of that.
And so it
I can
needs to
help both
be
sides.
the patience is, forbearance, and there is, in this patience is a caring,
Yeah.
but it's not allowing that caring to either make you blow your top or a caring to say, "Ah."
Well, I don't know. Is there even maybe something to be said to that part though? That I don't think there's anything wrong with being kind of nonchalant about some things. I
Some
think there's a
things.
lot of things that
Some
people get
things.
impatient about
Yeah.
that really aren't life or death, and they're
I
really
know.
not that big of a deal. But then there's other things that we probably don't have enough urgency for.
Yeah, like salvation. I
Right.
mean, people are just kind of blind on it.
So
So
maybe that
I'm
is,
going I just can't hit the center. I'm going from, left to right and right to left. I
so
just can't
maybe
hit the
rather
middle.
than short fused and grumpy, it's a lack of urgency for the things that are important.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what it is. If there is, I'm just trying to, is this a theory that is actually pretty pretty decent or lack of urgency for important things?
Well, I could go on both sides of that. I've been on
Well, I mean,
one of
that's
the
the thing. We
that
all
sounds
do,
good.
Yeah.
right?
I'm missing it, I get from left to right. I can't get the
Well, even love, I think love can go both directions
Sure.
a little bit
yeah.
because you can have
Or
take the kids. I can love the kids to the point that I justify and excuse everything that they do, and I don't discipline them, and I spoil them, and I do whatever.
yes,
But at the same time,
yes,
That's
yeah.
tolerant.
right. And then at the same time, I can swing the other direction where I'm so hard on them on everything that I
Cost
forget
me so much money.
I forgot to tell them how much I love them or forgot to show them that I loved them.
Yeah.
That one's something that as dads, I think you always have to find that balance a little bit because
Well, and I think that's a lot of living a Christian life is balance.
mhm.
Not too far to the right, not too far to the left. But most of us, can't say most of us, at least I'm not as balanced as I would like to be.
Joy, I mean, we can just go right down the list. I think all of them you can swing one direction. You can have a lack of joy in your life. You can also swing to a point where everything in life's just you're too carefree, everything's happy go lucky, and you don't take
Ha
serious situations serious, and you don't. There's not that sense of urgency. Sometimes you're a little bit more interested in being everybody's friend than getting the job done. There's ways that even those we can.
You can be happy, but not joyful. You can be
That's what I
Yeah.
kinda put as the neutered version of joy is just a happy,
Mhm.
versus I'm not sure what the um, toxic way of joy is, but I
A
know
lack
there's
of it.
kind of yeah,
Maybe
I
just
would
not
think
having
just
any.
again, it goes back to,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to have it.
Yeah.
It is that's for sissies.
Or they find joy in the wrong things,
Mm,
put too much emphasis on things that are, they get their joy from ungodly sources, maybe is a way of.
yeah,
Complaining?
I might could get that. Always grumping.
Yeah. I mean, the, then I wrote this down. It's from, Colossians 3:12
Uh-huh,
15.
okay.
It's called a energy vampire.
Oh, you
Yeah.
go ahead you
Yeah, I wrote it down, man. When you said that, I wrote that down 'cause
Yeah,
I
you get
like
down
it.
here.
alright,
I like that one.
so listen to
I
this, you
like
got
that on
so
that.
let's do love in the middle, tolerant is neutered, and then if you meet my standards
Yeah,
is the toxic,
yeah,
and I mean,
conditional.
it is all over the place as far as and I think Kenny's right. Man, we go left, we go right, but man, being in the center is almost it is
Tough.
impossible. It takes the spirit of God.
Be sinning all the time, yeah.
Yes, and not veering one way or the other, because most of the time, most men are gonna
But
veer towards
yeah,
the toxic side.
but we're gonna go here, then here. We never cross over. We just jump over.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
But it
self-control even, can you
Mm,
work so hard on the self-control side that there's a lack of grace to
yeah,
some extent?
legalism.
yeah, I
Legalism,
mean, that would be the toxic side versus,
no self-control.
no self-control, equals license. And that almost goes to your argument of grace itself.
Mhm.
Greasy grace.
Yeah,
Greasy was that Greasy Grace?
I
Yeah.
think you meant to
Hmm.
say easy, right, or cheap.
Yeah, greasy, easy. Yeah. Yeah,
I like
I don't
Greasy
know,
Grace.
I've never heard of
Greasy
greasy,
Grace.
grace.
You never heard of greasy grace?
No, man, you gotta define that. So,
Slippery.
when you put the
think I've heard it before, but I just wanna see this.
plea please, please,
No,
please
no,
share that.
I can't. I would.
Are you sure that somebody didn't say easy or cheap?
No, no.
Oh,
I'm
no, they
pretty.
should have said greasy grace. I'm looking forward to this one.
Greasy grace is a critical term used in some Christian circles to describe hyper grace.
You are kidding me.
What's
Check on your phone, mate.
yours?
No, there's a. I just did a Google.
Yeah.
It's a. It, some people because it's legalism and not a lot of people think greasy grace is like God forgives everything and he don't care what you do. That's greasy grace. God does forgive everything and he don't care for you what you do. Well, he does care for what you do.
I think he forgives everything, but he does care what
Yeah,
you do.
he does care
Yeah,
what you do. But greasy grace is you can do anything in the world and God will
yeah.
still be forgiven. That's greasy grace.
Man, I tell you what, I'm seeing it, but I sure ain't never heard of it. I can't believe
We
it
stand
is.
corrected.
Oh, wow, you still got a home button. That's nice. I didn't know they made phones with home buttons anymore.
Well, I don't work for the church myself. You know,
There you
I
go.
have a
Well, maybe
I
one
have to
day,
pay for
kid.
my cell phone.
Maybe one day.
I watched a sermon yesterday after I was riding home listening to your sermon from Sunday, and when I got done on YouTube, it brought another one up from another church, and just the title of it kind of got my attention, and I was riding down the road, so it was easier to hit play than it was to get my phone and I have to turn it off and all that stuff. So the title of it though was "Are You an Unsaved Christian?" And it was talking about have you seen the sermon I'm talking about?
No,
Okay.
I've read, there's some books. There's actually a book that's, The Worldly Christian or the
Yeah, and it was
I
talking to
think the
that point
Carnal
of
Christians one that I read that
yeah, it was talking to kind of the point of greasy grace or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get to a point where it's you just kind of you basically pretend that you can do anything you want to, or that's your viewpoint is that you can do anything you want to because Jesus forgives everything.
Right, and and you're not committed.
And
A casual Christian.
yeah, and there's no conviction over you just kind of dust your sin under the rug. Well, we're all sinners. Nobody's perfect. Who cares? Kind of thing. And
You do something, God's gonna forgive me.
yeah.
well, and I think
You
they were
you
talking
already
more of a
know what.
habitual type
Yeah,
thing. It
yeah.
was, it's not what I called that person that cut across the median to pass cars this morning. Wasn't something that I should have
Yeah.
said, but it also wasn't something that I routinely say or normally would say. But versus other things where it's something, oh yes, this is a lifestyle. This is something that I think is, God forgives this, and I'm just going to keep on doing it over and over again.
They didn't borrow it from Hebrews 10, did they?
They were using Acts actually. The source for what chapter is that?
Simeon, Simon?
Simon.
Yeah, when he,
That
yep.
and basically their way of using that was that he wanted to add Jesus to his lifestyle as is,
Right.
and just put him in the toolkit basically of the things that he was using, and there was no turning away from that lifestyle. It was just adding him to it, and I think that's something that makes an awful lot of sense to me. Okay, I have all these bad sins, and I need forgiveness. So if we add Jesus to all these sins, then I get forgiveness for the sins, but there's not going to be any subtracting of sins.
Yeah.
I don't want to subtract the sins.
So you're
And
stirred
that's
and
not the
not
way the
changed.
formula works.
Stirred but never change.
Yeah. Well, it's maybe being moved to the point where there's a difference in forgiveness and repentance. Sometimes we want to accept the forgiveness without repentance.
Right.
And
But there really shouldn't be.
no, there shouldn't be
Right.
a difference between the two of them. But I think sometimes we recognize that we need forgiveness.
Biblically, I don't think there is. Biblically, as far as what the Bible defines as repentance and forgiveness.
Right.
But what we practice,
But what we practice is
we
that
will be quick with our mouth, and it's kind of like what Jesus said is, these people worship me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me.
yeah. We want to be forgiven, but we want him to forgive us the next time we do it too, because we fully
Or
intend
next
to.
time.
And
the next
we know there's
time.
going to be
There's gonna
more
be a
and more
next
and
yeah.
more. They know
Something,
sincerity.
if you're doing the same thing you were 30 years ago, something's wrong with your relationship.
Well, I guess
If you're not trying, at least not trying.
well, biblically, if you're truly asking forgiveness, then you have to be sorry to ask for forgiveness. You're not just saying "forgive me" for the sake of checking that box off so that you're not.
Not in the back of your mind that you're going to repeat it.
Yeah, but repentance is turning away from it.
Right.
A genuine, sincere
I guess
sorrow.
that's what I'm saying is they should be almost one and the same.
There should be one and the same. If you're truly sorry,
Right. If I'm
then-
seeking forgiveness,
but we want forgiveness without being truly sorry.
it.
We just want you to forgive. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you obviously do. So please forgive us for doing what you don't want us to do. That's the viewpoint that we can take sometimes.
See, I wonder when we're talking about that, drug addicts or alcoholics, I wonder if the same thing with them, because I think it might be lower than 10%, maybe 5 or 2 of people that are alcoholics and they quit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about quitting for 14 years and going back. I'm talking about just completely quitting. And I see, and I understand the weakness. Do I understand the weakness? But I do see, I've seen a lot of people that had quit, but the first thing comes up, they're back.
Yep.
Quit back, quit back, quit back. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's necessarily. I don't think that's what he was talking about in the sermon. I don't think that's what I'm talking about here, because I think there is a difference between truly detesting the sin that you're committing, but having a lack of self-control, a lack of discipline, a lack of just we all are going to struggle with sin.
Yeah.
There are some sins that no matter how much we don't like the sin, I think that a lot of people that do struggle with alcohol, they hate that they struggle with alcohol.
No, I would say some. I'm saying it's on both sides.
I
They wanna go
I
back.
think yeah, I think it's probably on both sides too,
It's
but
on
I
both
think
sides.
there's a lot, and I
Yeah,
also think
yeah.
not just to single out alcohol. I think that you could almost take any sin
You can.
and there can be a sin. It could be a sin of self-righteousness. I hate that I am self-righteous, but sometimes I am. I hate pride, but sometimes I have pride. You can go any sin that we struggle with. There are going to be some that we truly do hate the sin and want to turn away from it, but that sinful nature gets the best of us sometimes, and we still struggle with it. That's not a lack of repentance.
Well, a lot of times we should plug and tape forward, not back. And, you
How
know,
are we going to do that?
see what
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean though.
when you
Please
plug
explain.
forward, your sin and know what the consequences would be. That's what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
If I do this, this is gonna happen. Sometimes we need to play our instead of playing our sins backwards, we need to play them forward. What is the consequences gonna be?
And I think that there's some it can go either
I
way.
think I'm following.
But
I think I'm getting that illustration.
we don't think about it. That's the problem.
Well, what we do is we take God's word that says, "There's now, therefore, now no condemnation in Christ Jesus," and so there's no penalty for it. And we then
But
rather
there
than
is.
play it, then we fool ourselves, and that's what it means by
You
not
shall
playing it
reap
forward.
what you sow.
Yeah,
Remember, just when you and I've tried this, and when I say I've tried it, it helped me in a lot of things is instead of remembering when, if you keep doing this, you know what's gonna happen. So, be sure your sins will find you out.
yeah.
You're gonna sow what you reap.
But if you have somebody that is a recovering alcoholic, and that
Mhm.
can be somebody that's recovering for the last week, or they've been recovering for 20 years, or maybe they've not had a drink in 20 years, but they still struggle with the temptation of it. Or they
That
just
does happen,
sure.
yes. I mean, I know
In
people
any of
that's
these
happened.
scenarios, though, I think that if you know somebody who has struggled with that sin in the past, or whether it was no matter how far in the past it's been, and they fall off the wagon,
Mhm.
I don't think that that incident in and of itself proves to us that they've turned away from God or that they no longer are repentant of their
Well
sins. I think it means that they had a
Relapse.
weak moment,
well,
but
what
it
about
doesn't mean that they've lost their faith, that they
So what happens if they do it
the
week
ones that
after
I
week after
see
week or month after month after month?
well, the ones I
well,
see
that's where it gets
That's what I'm getting
yeah.
at more than anything
Well, I
else.
think when it's somebody who doesn't even acknowledge that it's a problem
Right.
and they're just continuing to do it with no real effort or genuine desire to change
I
it.
will say I was gonna ask, how much does intent and desire and
Yeah,
willingness of heart or my down deep, I really wanna change?
right. Yeah.
that stirred never changed. The what you're talking about, and I've seen it a lot in a lot of people, but it's more of what I see that in people that aren't Christians
Mhm.
because they don't have anything to look forward to. I don't see that much, a Christian doing that, and I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
At all or just in your circles or what?
I didn't say at all, I say I don't see it that
You don't
much.
see it that much.
Yeah,
Well, in which are you talking about? Having an isolated one-time relapse, or are you talking about
going back in,
going back
indulging.
over and over and over and over again?
Yeah,
Over and over and over.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully, because if they're
I've seen people that had a lot of time, and then what happened? I don't know what happened, but yeah. But I don't see that in people that have more belief in God, that, people that believe in the afterlife. But I do see that in the world because they don't really have anything to look forward to.
so,
I'm not saying it don't happen. I say I don't see it that much,
yeah,
but I do see it a lot. It's frequent with people that are not do not know Christ as their Lord and Savior.
yeah.
What do you think then? I mean, to just
No hope.
according to
Uh,
their natural
going back to
flesh.
yeah,
I mean, they're just
yeah.
acting naturally. Okay.
Just going back to their own desires. It's hard. Yeah, there's really only two kind of people. there's only two kinds of people here on earth.
Right.
There's your saved people and your unsaved.
There's no in-betweeners.
And, you know, and the unsaved live by their morality, which is no morality. And, but, and they don't have that hope. You know, when you lose hope, you might as well just die. You know, hope you can't
Most
live
of the time you
without.
do.
Yeah, you can't. Well, yeah, you see it all the time. Well, I would say you see it, but you see it. You do see it as a pastor, but not in the since I was talking about it. You do see people that okay, well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I want to die, and I see Christians because their spouse is gone. They want to die.
Yeah.
They don't have any desire to
There's
live,
no
and
will to
I
live.
get that.
There's no will to live.
Right.
Get you.
I wanna make sure I say this maybe, because I think that that's something that can scare some people away from church a little bit. And let's take the person who's struggling with alcohol or drugs or anything. It really can be anything, but they're struggling with something. And just frankly, there are some sins that are harder to quit than others. There are physical addictions, there are mental addictions. There's a lot of things that sometimes, you know, I'd love to learn how to hit a 10-yard fade, but I don't have it in me, Ben. I hit a 8-yard draw is a fade to me, okay? There's some things, no matter how hard I try or how hard we try to do things, we're gonna have certain tendencies.
Right.
So f the person who tied one on Saturday night
Mhm.
and really feels lousy about it and wants to get their life together and they wanna find God and they wanna find peace and they don't know what they're looking for just yet, but they know they wanna find God. They show up to church on Sunday morning with a little hangover, and I think part of what might make them a little hesitant to make the altar call at the end of it, if they are feeling the conviction, is that they're afraid, "Okay, yes, we're gonna forgive the past, but what if I show up next week and I've had another slip? Or what if in a month I
That's the
slip
problem.
again?" And okay, there's grace and preacher's going to forgive the first time or God's going to forgive the first time. They're not going to show me the
Exactly.
first time. But how many strikes do I get before these people are going to start turning their
Only
nose
one.
down at me?
Only
And I think that what can be
Mm.
challenging to the church is some people. I used to tell us about the guy I went to school with every Sunday or every Monday. He came in saying he got saved yesterday. He did it for
Yeah,
like 2 years straight.
I've met
Yeah.
those folks.
You know, and you've got that, but then there's some other people who, doggone it, no matter how hard they try, they're just gonna slip up.
Yeah.
They may not they may never kick it completely,
And
and just because they didn't completely kick it doesn't mean that they
Doesn't
didn't know
mean they're
God.
not saved, and doesn't
right,
mean
But
they're
it
not.
doesn't.
but from us not knowing their heart, we're gonna see strike 2, strike 9, strike 12. How many strikes do we give them before it's, "Well, you must not really have
Give
been."
them any. I have seen that. I've seen the person they come to church. Now, I'm not gonna say where, but I've seen the person come to church and, give their heart to the Lord. They were drinking, they sobered up, and the church rejoiced. "Oh, man, God is
Yay,
so"
we got
yeah.
somebody.
Yep.
That same person came up there the next week. You know what those Christians did?
What did they say?
You know what those Christians said?
No, that's what I wanna know. What'd they say?
He didn't have anything anyway.
Right. This is a week later?
Yeah. So I
Right.
know exactly what
What'd they say now? He won't saved anyway?
he didn't have anything anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how
So
and
basically, they're
we
saying that he never really got saved.
yeah,
Okay.
and we judge based on what we see. And the reason why God tells us we can't judge because we can't see the heart. We can't see anything but just what I see, and that's not very far.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's probably 1,000th of a I know about 1,000th of the situation,
Yeah.
or 1,000,000.
Yeah.
You know, there's a
Well,
lot of parts.
you know, though, you made a really cool point Sunday, in the woman caught in an adultery, where you said, "What was Jesus writing down?" And you said, "I'll go ahead and tell you, deep answer, I have no clue."
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
Nobody
But,
knows.
you know, and I think you even
you know? Uh,
I gave 4 good answers
yeah, you gave some but honestly, you can play the what if game
it doesn't
until
until the cows come home.
Yeah.
But here's another thing about it that even you talked about where was the man in the situation.
Yeah.
You know, what was the whole plot? What's the rest of the story here? Well, we don't even know the rest of that entire story.
Mm-mm.
We don't know
happened to
where
the
was the
dude?
husband?
Yeah.
Where was, where was the rest of the story? And I'm not gonna do it for the sake of time or whatever, but I mean, I could sit around and play the what if game all day long to the point where I could probably come up with a story that would make you feel sorry for the girl that was caught in adultery in the first place if I wanted to play it hard enough. It doesn't mean I'd be right,
Right.
but you can play the what if game all day long. The fact is you don't know anything about the person.
No. And like I said, if you listen a couple times, I said, if you take the words of the scribes and Pharisees,
Mhm,
I'm not convinced this woman I mean, she knew she was a sinner, but
mhm.
that doesn't mean, I'm not convinced that the scribes and Pharisees are telling all the truth. Did they really catch her in adultery, or did they just have a
If
sneaky
somebody had a
suspicion?
proverbial gun to her husband's head in that situation and it was
Right.
essentially a forced
Right.
whatever situation,
Confession.
okay. Would that have changed how you looked at her? I mean, and I'm not that's just one of a million hypotheticals, but the
Right.
point is, we don't know. We don't know the person that comes in on Sunday morning, why they're hungover, why they're what their
There's that look,
backstory is, what
there's
else is
that
going on
look.
in their life,
Yeah.
any more than, and again, that's just one simple sin to talk
Right.
about, but it's anything that we wanna throw stones at somebody for, we don't know the
Well,
story.
and we're quick to do that.
Mhm.
Once we, I guess, dehumanize somebody, it's easier to judge them. You know, it's easier. They did this, or they're doing this, or yeah, I can't believe they did. How many times have we heard? I can't believe they did that.
Yeah,
You should believe it because you probably did the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, uh, years ago, maybe, but I mean, I have actually seen somebody accuse people of something they were doing
Oh, yes.
that person was doing. I mean, all the time. It's just like,
Well, I think
it just blows my mind.
that's one of the things I was wanting to get at on Sunday is use the same standard that you, because we're quick to judge others, and we're a little more
But
harsh
you
on
said you
others.
can't even see it in your
And we're real
uh,
quick to say, "Man, all they do is gossip." Same time, listen to yourself. Are you talking about other people? Are you talking about things that, okay, is this really gonna help anybody?
Yeah.
And I think if we will use the same standard that we have for everybody else, we'll find out that, man, maybe we're not the stellar people we think we are, and maybe we don't need to be judging or talking about others.
what's that song? Think you look at yourself and you look at others differently. Remember
Mhm.
that song?
No, I don't remember that one.
Oh, man, Here Comes Jesus Walking on. Well, I'm trying to think of it was a popular song. I think it might have got number 1 in
Sounds like a
so
Keith Green story song,
no, it was,
jam.
take a look at yourself and you look at others. Put your hand in the hand of the man who steals water.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, "Put your hand in the hand."
Man,
That's
so
old, Southern gospel, ain't it?
yeah. No, yes, it's a gospel song, but
Yeah.
it was on the pop charts.
Hmm.
Take a look at yourself and you'll look at other people differently.
Yeah.
I don't know who sang it.
I thought it was always, point one finger, there's 4 pointing back at you,
And
but
that's
that's
true
not a
too.
song.
I
Yeah.
don't know if is that a song?
I've heard it in songs. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the title of one, but
Man from Galilee.
that came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
No, that's part of the
yeah,
song.
yeah,
Put
please,
your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee.
no edit, leave that in.
Yeah.
That was great.
But, and
I
it's just strange how we can justify what we do
Mhm.
and pick on somebody that's, Jesus said, "Take the splinter yeah, 2 by 4 out of your own eye before you get the splinter of someone else's eyes." But it's just like I saw the other and I saw this, I might have shared this about a hitman. He killed a lot of people. But at the end of it, you think of this guy as, "Man, this guy, he don't have any sense.
Mhm.
He has no conscience." And these are his words. "I was doing my job. I'm a good person."
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Man, he was complaining about some of these mafia leaders, what they were doing, but he couldn't understand that what he was doing was wrong.
Well, and I think
And
that the point of the sermon that he ended up getting at was that just because you still struggle with a sin doesn't mean you're not a Christian. In fact, the fact that you're struggling with the sin is evidence that you are a
yes, you
Christian.
are, yeah, I
The
would say
fact that
so.
you don't realize it's a sin is maybe is the other
That's
side of
the
the coin.
problem, yes.
But if you
That
know it's a sin and you're struggling with it, then okay, you're that that's an important thing to remember there. It's not that we're not saying if you still sin, then you're not a Christian.
Right.
It's if you don't struggle with it at all and you just think it's fine, then that's maybe a different side of it. But we don't know if the person who is still sinning is struggling with it, or if they're just, they're immune to it, or they're numb to it, or whatever. They don't have that. And also, I've heard it said before too, and we've talked about it before too. God deals with everybody's. He cleans us up in their own, in His way, in His time. The thing that He needs to clean up with us may not, what we think you need to work on the most might not be the thing He thinks you need to work on the most.
That's it.
And
He may have to get rid of some other stuff before he gets to the big stuff.
Right.
Just like if you're cleaning out your attic, he sees the thing for what it is, and we know that, okay, there's 5 boxes back there I got to get to, but before I get to that, I got to remove all this stuff.
Yeah.
And God is sovereign in that to know that, okay, we got to move these smaller things, and then we'll get to the big.
And I think that's where we can, back to the original topic of, godly men, godly people in general. I think that's something that it's another thing that's hard to balance there between talking to somebody about the sin that they might be struggling with and being there for them when they need help with it, but at the same time remembering that.
I guess why would you want to confess your sins if, most people don't want to know that their sins are.
Well, and there's a big difference between confessing to the Lord and then confessing to just that average guy I just met.
I get around. Well,
but I will say this: what I have found is, if it's genuinely confessed to the Lord, oftentimes you don't mind sharing it with other people because it gives your opportunity to talk about His grace, your opportunity to talk about His love and mercy.
I understand that, but if someone's struggling with sin,
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to talk about it.
No.
Because you're afraid that everybody's going to.
Well, it's seen as weakness.
Yeah. Well, you're ashamed of it too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
All right.
Good lesson. I'll try.
Wow. 2:30. You had a good list there, Kenny. Actually did some homework.
I did it upstairs.
I saw you doing that. Oh, I see you wrote it on the just on the back.
Yeah.
That's when I saw that, I said, he was working on that when I was doing the devotion.
Well, it was
appreciate that.
You're giving me ideas.
See y'all.
Here's the prime timer to Maria. That's what I'm trying to.
She had a red marker.
Okay,
that's all it is.
Like it stands out or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, it's actually whatever color marker's up there, and they grab it.
Okay.
So she happened to grab the red one.
All right.
Being walked in the chair.
Well, what you just brought up is
edit. In case he listens.
Oh, he'll be all right.
We're going to wait patiently for this.
I know this is boring radio, but this is actually going to be great.
We'll trim this right out, and I'm not going to interrupt this.
Yeah.